All right, guys, welcome to the stream, baby. Um, dang, man, I have so much to talk about tonight. Um, Today is a hard day for a lot of reasons. I always think about Tylee like the entire day, but it's also an amazing day because I get to remember her and not just think about the bad stuff. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about CrimeCon because this is what inspired a lot of what we're going to be speaking on tonight. Um, we are in the middle of fixing the studio for you guys, so that's why we are turned into the corner. I'm getting a different desk. We are getting the whole wall done in here. We're getting the lighting done in here. We're going to have a completely different studio setup. And then we're setting up the other side of the studio for Pop Culture Poppy as a separate piece. And then we'll also be able to do podcasts in this room. So it's a big deal. We've got Ray in the house, I saw with his big old biceps. We've got Kelsey in the house. We've got Larry in the house. Man, we in the stew. There he is. Look at this guy, man. We had a blast. I'd love to get into the hours of a conversation that CrimeCon would take. It was incredible, man. It was nothing like you would expect. Yeah, man, it was different. So, what's up, guys? We've got a lot to get to tonight. A lot of love for Ray, a lot of love for Larry. It's good to see you guys. All right, so here's what I want to talk about tonight. We're gonna talk about CrimeCon. I promise. You guys are about to see the vlog first, then we'll talk about CrimeCon. What I will say is that I learned a lot at CrimeCon because I thought it was about people who glorify crime, and it's just honest to God what I thought it was. And I really thought that it was more of a place for people who are like crime centered and focused would go to hear details about crime. It was such the opposite of that. And the more that I listened to people who have been through hell on earth and have lost people that they love, the more that I realize how important it is for us to reclaim the narrative of the people who are gone, man. And I know that it's important for us to touch on the things that happened, the person who did it, but I never want this to be the focus only. And I had this beautiful picture. If you guys didn't see our lives, okay, beautiful picture, hand drawn of Tylee and JJ. Okay, hand drawn. Just keep that in mind, how beautiful that is. And again, it just made me think when I got done how much I want to talk more about them. And I guess a part of me has been saying two things. Okay. And I'll just be straight honest with you guys. Oh, let me read this because what I'm going to say is going to take a minute for me to get through. Glad you had a great time. Happy to see Larry in the chat. God bless. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture. I'm obsessed with it. It's just so beautiful. Hand drawn, guys. This is an absolute labor of love. My guy Ray got a copy if you didn't see. Nate got a copy, and I think Gigi as well. What an honor. Seriously, what an honor to have somebody sit there and draw that. And it is beautiful. Seriously, like I can feel the labor of love that it is. So I hope you guys can see it. And that will be a part of the new studio as well. So again, at CrimeCon, a lot of people who are there have lost somebody, and they are the surviving family members and or the people who have gone through it, detectives, all kinds of different walks of life. And on top of it, I mean, we met so many incredible people. We met so many of you. I have some pictures and videos of me meeting you guys and hugging you. It was amazing. But I will tell you that this is the biggest point right now. And I'll tell you why this is so important. Having a highlight of Tylee on this day is exactly what it means to take back a narrative. I have associated this day with Tylee, with bad, for as long as I've known what happened to her on what day. Yeah, man, it was a great time. Absolute great time. And it was beautiful. With that being said, um, it is so important to remember them for who they were and not as victims. Just because Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, and other people who have been victims to crimes are known for such things, that is not who they are. Tylee, and if I sob tonight, I already know that it's coming. So if it comes, I'm allowing it to happen. Okay. Tylee, as a human being, was loving and caring. Tylee already was selfless at a young age. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people who say that she was feisty. No, Tylee was just opinionated. Tylee was an amazing person, and she was put through hell. And so I don't think Tylee was allowed to be herself. Tylee was in a lot of hard places in her life. And the reality is that she didn't have a chance to get to know herself. But who she was a harder exterior. If you can see past that, was nothing but love and softness and kindness. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell you it again. She gave up her Christmas for me to be selfish. And it's not like I was a young kid. I was just selfish as a teenager. And our mom took us to Ross, and she allowed us to pick out our own gifts basically. And exactly, Julie. Exactly. She was so kind, and she gave up everything so I could be selfish. And now, what young kid is willing to give up their Christmas money for their brother to go and do their own thing, right? I tell you that story because this is who she was. And I will always thank God for the time I had with her at the very end. It was so, it's just tough, man. It's tough because, like, it's such a bittersweet thing because it's like the beginning of our adult relationship was also the end of our entire relationship. When Tylee got back from Hawaii and I was working at the gym, she would come and visit me. And she was staying all the way up at Alex's house. And it was really far from where I was because I was in Mesa and he had a house out in like Santan Valley. So the distance of that is crazy. We both love schlotchkis. Now Tylee is a cheese. She was a cheese girl. Okay, from a young age. Let me tell you something that Tylee ate. Tylee ate Cheerios with ketchup as a kid. Ty, I know you're in heaven right now listening, but what the frick were you thinking with Cheerios and ketchup? That was not it. I don't know what the heck you were doing. She was a cheese sandwich girl. Okay, she loved cheese. It was either pasta and cheese or cheese sandwiches were her favorite thing. But we loved Schlotchkis sandwiches. If you guys know Schlotchkis, shout out to Schlotchkis. They're still my favorite sandwich. They were based out in Austin. Okay. Austin, Texas, where we were at. And so we loved going there. And so I had told her there's a Schlotchkis way far away from us. And she went all the way from Alex's to all the way to Mesa. So it's far. That alone, 45 minutes drive. And then picked it up went past where I was and came all the way back just to sit down with me for the last like 25 minutes of my lunch. That was all of that effort just so she and I could have time. Just so we could have time together. And this is at the very end. This was in 2019 when she came back. And we had just had Riley, our daughter, our first daughter. And we had moments like that where I knew she didn't have anybody here because Lori was running around. She'd come out of our house. She knew I got home at 7 o'clock at night. I worked 10 to 7. So she'd come over at 7 o'clock. Riley was already falling asleep, if not going to sleep. She'd bring us dinner, me and Kelsey, and just come be with us for just a tiny little bit of time, just to see Riley right before she went to sleep. And she would have been the best aunt, you know. Just, I know she would have loved her nieces and her nephew. I have so many stories of me and Tylee. So many trip stories. She's seen me do a lot of embarrassing things, obviously, where she's made fun of me my whole life. She'd never let me live some of that stuff down. One of the funniest things we ever went through is I remember that I was listening to some stupid song that I let play on, I think it was Pandora. This is a long time ago. And I used to drive her and me to school. So when I got my license, we went to the same school. We had a K through 12. And I still think K through 12 is crazy because the age difference. But we used to drive to school and I listened to my music, and she was not a fan, obviously. And I was listening to all kinds of crazy stuff on there. And I remember her and I went back home, and she told my mom that one of my songs said something crazy. So I got in trouble. And I remember trying to have that conversation with her. Like, why would you tell mom about the song? Like, you could have just told me to skip it. And she's like, if you continue to listen to songs like this, you're going nowhere. And I said, there's no way you said that. I don't even know. I was 16. Okay. So she told me, if you continue to listen to those songs, you're going nowhere. And I was like, I don't know who taught you this stuff. I'm not really sure how you knew that. I don't know how you were new to say that, but that's next level intelligence for you. And, you know, the thing is, the biggest point about the relationship I had with her is that it was a complicated brother-sister thing, right? Big age gap. It was rap music, if you're wondering. I only listened to rap exclusively. Like, I had no... That's all I listened to. I didn't think I had one other song that went in there, right? She's too smart for her own good. Okay. Anybody will tell you that knows her. That was probably the number one thing you could know about Tylee, is that she was hyper aware at the youngest age. She understood things, and she could put you in your place and humble you pretty quickly. And she did. She always humbled me. I've told you guys this story about Miami. That's something we reminisced on for years. You know how little kids will tell you anything. They'll tell you a story. Oh, she did it worse than you. For real. Because she could get my heart. Like, she knew exactly. Like, siblings just know everything about you, and so they can really say some stuff. She did say some stuff. She would go for the jugular on me. The funny thing is, I got to watch her grow into who she was at that point. So she had a very, very, like, I had a short time where I got to really know who she was becoming. And you know what I mean? Like, okay, I do have to tell you that when we were younger, we were obsessed with, I don't know if I should say it, because just the name of it. So please don't get offended when I say it. It's just so you guys have a reference. Okay. When we were younger, this was in like 2000s, Jackass was a really big thing, and Jackass 2 just came out. So me and my stepbrothers were obsessed with making videos and trying to fake stunts. So we had our video camera, and we would fake our injuries. We'd jump off the stairs and stupid stuff. We were just kids. And then our bit was to turn to Tylee and zoom in and have her say a line every single time. And so sometimes we actually got hurt, and that's when the tape would really, like, we didn't know how to control that, because We weren't in a controlled environment. Our parents did not really know that we were doing this. We would just go and do these bits. We would do something and get hurt and then zoom in on Tylee and have her say her line. Um, and that was like our thing with her. And then she started reffing our WWE fights. And I was obsessed with the WWE, and so were my brothers. So we had the big belts. And at that time, John Cena was a big deal. And John Cena had a freaking spinner. I got to show you this belt. There's no way you can't know this. If you're not a fan, it won't make any sense to you. You have to see what I'm talking about here. This thing was real. I got to see if I can find the one. Okay, this is it. This is the one that I'm going to share with you guys. Please. So this was a big deal when we were kids. Hold on. This is why I love using this, because I can just show you guys whatever I want. Here it is. Do you see this? This spins. Yeah, the spinner went crazy. Exactly. I had this thing and it can spin, right? It was plastic, obviously. And that was a big deal to us. Okay. So she would hold the belt and we would fight and wrestle on the bed until she decided we were done. And we gave her all of the authority of being the ref. She had all the authority in the entire wrestling match. And then she would hand us the spinny belt. Well, sometimes in the WWE, you end up fighting the ref. And so sometimes she'd come in, and you know how like when they're too little to know that you're not supposed to like actually hurt and destroy you. That is what she did not have that boundary. She was too little. So she'd get in on the fight, and kick to the eyes, toe to the into the ear, just destroying you, right? She would just boom, boom, boom. I remember she slapped me with that belt, like whipped me, and it hurt. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, she got me. And yeah, and then if she ever got tackled or anything, it was mom, and I got in trouble. So frick this. I tell you these stories not to just give you a one-off who she was. There's so many people that I want to have come together to give you a fuller picture. I'm really glad that Julie said something as well. Because she met so many people in her life because she moved around a lot. She had a really hard life. Tylee, and I want to just address this other part of it, is that Tylee did have health issues and she did struggle. And I know she had health issues, but she also didn't have anybody leading her way. I want Tylee to be remembered for who she was. And it's something that I need you guys to understand. And I tell this stories because Tylee was a very real person. And there's a hole in our hearts that she's missing. And it's not just me. She had friends. She had amazing people in her life. And she was real. And I understand that so many of you actually do feel that. And you know what? Maybe it was because of such bad media exposure that I had that I assumed the coldness of most people. But at CrimeCon, and I'm going to bring this back up just to give you guys an understanding of why this video is coming out now, is when I got to meet you guys. Oh yeah, we have to do that one. Give me a second. I'll get to this because I'm ADHD, so I'll forget my thought. When I met you guys at CrimeCon and I saw the other people who had lost their loved ones, their memory is in the life they lived, not the death that they had. And I think that sometimes it's easy to get stuck. It's easy to get stuck in just this is what happened to this person. And it's almost like that's the association. I want her to be remembered as a person, that what she did in her life. It's the same thing for JJ. It's like he can't just be the little boy that was taken. He's not. He's an amazing, amazing little boy. But today, with this being a day that has always meant something so hard to me, I wanted to give you, trying not to bawl my eyes out right now. I wanted to give you an insight, just some stories, just so you guys have an idea. She was so funny, so smart. Like, you don't understand how smart she was. Too smart for her age. And she was amazing. And I remember I was driving home. Gosh, man, frick. I was driving home from CrimeCon. It's a very long drive for me in that Tesla. And so all you can really do is think. And I remember thinking to myself, I met so many of you who are so amazing and so incredible. And like you gave me, I don't think you understand the love that you showed me. Um, I couldn't have ever imagined existed. And I know you guys love me on YouTube and I love you back and I mean that, but like it was so tangible and real for us and like I hope that that would be always the same thing for all of us here that it is real. But it was so real for me. And for her, I just really thought about her on the way home and how much I wanted to tell her and have her see the love from CrimeCon. It sounds so stupid, but it was like I really wanted her to have shared in that. And it's so weird because that's part of the reason I was even there. But it was like a part of me just wanted to sit down with her. And I wish she could have had that love too. Like I was like, that part of me wanted to drag her there and have her and let her experience that love because I don't think either one of us had ever seen anything like that and felt anything like that in our lives. So a part of me just wanted her to have that. And I do that a lot. You know, I catch myself thinking what it would be like to sit down with them now. And you know, I just imagine what life could be like for them. And I just wish she knew while she was here how much she was loved and other people loved her and could see her for who she was. She was not treated the right way growing up, and she was not loved the way she should have been loved, and she was not seen the way she should have been seen. And nothing breaks my heart more than the idea of her being only known as Lori's one of Lori's victims. And that goes for everybody, right? It goes for everybody. That goes for every single one of the people who had lost their lives because of Lori and Alex and Chad. But, you know, it's like the memory of who they are is what the life they lived and the impact that they made. And I know, I know, it'll never be the same. I know that. I can accept that. And it took a long time to get there. I can accept that. What I want to live on is her heart that she had. It needs to be shared and known that Tylee's heart was an example to me. Right? Like Tylee was seriously like so loving and understanding and like had a heart of gold and just it's rare. You just don't see people who do things without any type of back and forth. She didn't need anything back. That's love. That's selfless. And a lot of times we as human beings do things for us and that benefit us. And she didn't do that. She didn't look for something back. And that is what I want her legacy to be remembered as. Is that that's who she was. That wasn't something she did. And with all her friends and with everybody will tell you how generous and understanding she was as a person and how much she left her mark on this world. And so did JJ in the time that they had. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't. But they made their mark. And victims of all these people, all these families, bro, that are struggling, that have lost their loved ones, especially in a horrendous, bad way, in a crime way, they need to be known for who they were. And I would have done anything to just, in that moment, just sit there and talk to her. And it's like, I can't, it's not an option. That's not an option for me. And you know what? I accept that. It's okay. I get it. And I hope that one day I get to have that with her again. And I can't wait for that. But I just wanted this video to be about her and have everyone who's already so amazing. I saw it in CrimeCon. I'm just trying to spread even more of it. We started talking about it. I didn't know CrimeCon was like it. I didn't know it was so loving and caring with these people. But I just want to continue to share that and have that be the message across every time we talk about these different things, is the people who are either had been through hell and are the victims and alive or not or anything should be seen as human beings and be loved as human beings and accepted as human beings, and not just looked at and viewed at as one thing or one thing that happened in their life, because that's not who Tylee was. And so I can't wait to give you guys a better deep dive um, on who she was. Just remember, man, like, just remember all these people, man, all these people who have been affected by this, all the family members. Our job and our way that we can give the people who have lost their chance to speak or live their life is we can give them that love, that support, by sharing who they were and let others know that and let their light still continue to shine and be an example. So I just wanted to share that with you guys tonight. I didn't want today to be about Tylee's death. I didn't want to keep thinking about all the bad. And that's all that gets hijacked in a case like this. It hijacks the good. It takes away all of it. It takes away everything. It takes away everything good, because all you think about is the death. And it's just not fair. That's not what it was. That happened. And it's not the reality. That's not who she was. And she left her mark on this world. And I know she suffered a lot with her health. And I am just, all I have in as far as gratitude is that she no longer has any pain and any of that. No pain, no worries, and that she is okay. And that is the only thing that I get to be happy about, and the life that she lived. So I really appreciate you guys with the love and the understanding, the grace. Nothing matters to me more than people knowing them for who they were. And I understand, as their brother, part of my job is to share that. So I will do that in the way that I see that it will give you more reality of Tylee. I want you to see more and hear from more people about her, not just one perspective, because I want you guys to get a better picture of her. So that is what I will continue to get ready to work on. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. This whole video needed to be dedicated to Tylee, and that's where I want to leave it. It's just dedicated to Tylee. So I hope you guys understand her a little bit more and see her as the person that she was. Her heart is shining on, and it will continue to. And that is always what's going to matter to me. Oh, you're right. The barn story. One more thing. Let me leave you with the funniest story. You know how little kids will fib on all of it, right? They'll fib about stuff and make up stories. Tylee had a big imagination. Okay. When we went to Miami, and we were sitting there with my grandma and Tylee, and she's 2.5, maybe 3 at the most. She goes on this long story, and she starts talking about this stuff. I don't know how this conversation comes up. She goes, yeah, so I have this friend, and he lives in a barn, and he has no parents. He has no arms, no legs. I don't remember if he could see. He had a lot of ailments, but I know for a fact he had no arms and no legs. Okay, this is her story. He lives in a barn by himself, and he gets picked up for school, brought to school, and then does his thing. He's taken care of, and at the end of the day, he gets dropped off at the barn by himself with no parents. And so I remember just kind of we're just listening to this long story. Okay. Mind you, a barn by himself with no arms, no legs, no parents. Doesn't have breakfast, can't turn lights off, can't do anything. Um, he just and apparently the bus driver is fine with leaving him in the barn by himself. No, there's no CPS called. He's fine in the barn, apparently, Tylee. And so he's got no parents and no arms, no legs, can't do a thing. And he's all alone in the barn. I felt bad for this kid, and he wasn't even alive and real in this context, but whatever. I felt bad for him. Okay. Yeah, the bus driver needs to be arrested. I'm sorry. We need to have that conversation now. The bus driver is worse than anybody here. He's the biggest culprit, and so is the school. So he gets dropped off on the hay and just left. And I remember just kind of looking at my grandma with that face of like, okay. And so I don't know how it happened, but again, let me explain to you how intelligent Tylee is. So she comes up with this, and I'm sitting there waiting for her to finish. And at the end, I'm like, yeah, I have a friend as well. And my friend, and I told her the most, I don't remember my story because her story was so iconic. My story was so over the top though. Like I went further. Like I took it to like my friend can fly, all this stuff. But there was a slow that face that I was making the whole time was this slow realization that Tylee had that I knew that her story was fake. And all three of us laughed to like pee your pants, like funny. Like we all cried. And again, oh my gosh, it's gonna make me cry, but it's the greatest thing ever. Tyler or Kelsey can attest to this. Tylee had one of those laughs, even from the beginning, that had the most infectious laugh, period. Like one of those laughs that it doesn't matter if you found what they thought was funny, their laugh will and make you laugh. There's no choice. It's just that funny. Her laugh was just perfection. And exactly, you didn't even have to be laughing. And that's the thing. Some of her humor, we did not always think the same things were funny, but she would tell me a joke. And if she couldn't make it through the joke on her phone, she would start laughing. And then it would just automatically make me laugh. So, those challenges where it's like, try not to laugh, no choice. I'd laugh anytime. And that's the barn story. But that was one of our favorite memories ever because you have to understand how young she was, and she realized I knew that she was lying, and like she knew we knew, and we knew her story, and like she was so smart, she caught all of it, and then she laughed. And man, like those are the things that mean the most to me, those stories. um there's a video of us, and the hard part is you always have to, there's another thing I'll talk to is there's a hard part about um looking back at memories, because so many of our memories were all together. So there's always Lori, she's always in every picture, she's in every video. But if you guys have seen that Netflix documentary, there's a moment where we were singing on the way, and those were like, I used to vlog a lot. I don't like, I mean, I've always vlogged my whole, like, I can't even tell you how long, probably since I was like 10 years old. I've been using my phone that had a camera, and I would film, and I always like did stupid funny things. But I used to have so many videos of me and her and us in the car talking, and like just there's literally conversations about anything and everything. And that's when someone asked me at the panel, tell me some of your memories. My favorite memories are genuinely the ones that are so simple. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's like you don't understand how invaluable being next to somebody is until they're gone. And that's just something I hope I can share to others, is like being around, and this is just side tangent real quick, just being in the moment is so important, and I struggle with it. It's like just enjoy today, enjoy the people you have in your life, and just be happy to be where you are, and you don't have to be in the past or in the future. Just try to be present. But like the moments I had with Tylee when we were driving to Disneyland and Kelsey was there, and we were all on our way to that trip. That was one of the best moments ever. Like, her friend was there, and we just had stupid humor. And um it's hard, man. It's so hard to not cry when it's such a joyful thought. Like, it's just hard. One of my favorite things personally I ever did, I got back from school and I was trying to earn as much money as I could because we were going to Disney and I wanted to be able to buy Kelsey stuff. And and we were dating, by the way. That's like within our first couple months of dating. So I wanted to get her stuff and I wanted to get Tylee something. One of the first things I did was when we got there, um, I wanted to buy them all hats. And I used to think it was so cool to buy people stuff. So I earned money just to be able to do that. So I wanted her to go pick out a hat because it was really hot. We were all getting sunburned. And she got her Monsters Inc. hat. And like doing that for her as her older brother when I never like been able to really buy her anything like that or something of that nature was like such a good moment. And it's like that kind of stuff. I don't know why it's not the Disney trips or the highs or like all these, big moments that you would think that you'd be remembering all the time. It's literally like sitting in the car with her on a road trip, sitting out by the fire at night and us having a conversation back and forth and me getting to understand her as a person and laughing about stupid stuff. Or when she made me go see a scary movie when she knew I didn't like scary movies and she was less scared than I was because we went and saw it was called The Visit. Okay. And Tylee, I'm still mad about this, by the way. If you can hear me in heaven, I'm still pissed about this one. Let me pull up The Visits, just the trailer, not even the trailer. We're not going to do that. We're just going to show you the freaking this right here. Frick this. She knew I was not okay with this. She knew it. And she did it anyway. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this rocker. It's scary. That's scary, bro. I didn't even do scary. The whole idea, and by the way, you want to talk about bad moms? Go watch this movie. Holy crap. So she makes me go see this movie in Hawaii, mind you. There's only one movie theater there. And it's really small. And it's way on the other side of the island. So we drove all the way out there and all the way back just to go see this movie. This movie, I'm just going to spoil it because frick it. It's not like it's going to matter to you. This movie is about two grandkids that go to their grandparents' house and a bunch of crazy stuff happens. And then guess what? Turns out that's not the grandparents because the mom didn't even come with them. She just sent them to their grandparents they'd never met. And it wasn't the grandparents. It was two random old people who were nuts. Okay. Why'd you make me see that, Tylee? I don't know. Okay. But we had a whole same thing, music. I was listening to music and one of the bars in the song Lil Wayne said, I'm not going to repeat it because it was inappropriate, but he said something wild and it made Tylee laugh so hard because it was so out of pocket that it made the car erupt because again, there was no choice if she laughed. So we're driving home from that movie. Again, I'm scared. And he says something crazy. And she thought it was so funny to the point where she was like busting out laughing. And so her best friend's dying. I'm in the front seat. It's so infectious that I'm just literally driving my stomach curled over because it was her laugh. It wasn't anything else. It was the fact that she laughed that hard. And you know what? Like that's the stuff I miss, man. I miss that. The vlog you guys have seen, if you haven't seen it, I'm the most annoying human being you've ever seen in your life in that video. I'm just being honest with you. I annoyed myself. I wanted to just straight uppercut Creed 3 my own self in that video. You need to understand though, some people were like, why are you yelling at Tylee? Like we were just both loud like that. Like we both were trying to be funny in that way. That's one of my favorite vlogs ever. We're on our way to go to the boat and do that thing. So that's just what it was. Those moments mean the most to me. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you know more than anything, it's so important to remember people for who they were, not what they went through, and not being a victim to a crime. And I hope that that is always the focus that we have on this channel and that people feel that understanding and that love of those people and not remember them for the worst parts of their lives. you guys can go see that that vlog. It is something on the channel. I don't have the video pulled up for you, but I have it on there. And it's one of the only videos I have where we have like an interaction back and forth. So um, I'm very grateful for those memories. With all that being said, I hope you guys got to know her a little bit better. I can't wait to give you the idea that I have to really show you and honor her the right way. But I really hope that this gave you some insight, some love. I appreciate you guys and love you. And we'll continue to do our best to just love and honor these people. And hopefully we get to show people from an example that it's important to share that love and those stories of the ones who are gone. And that means a lot to me. So thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you very soon. We will have the studio done soon. Yes, mods, thank you. No, I am not watching The Visit on Halloween. That is you now. I'm not going to sleep tonight. You know who scared me? I'm sorry. I have one last thing to say, and this was also kind of Tylee's fault, and I love her, but she's told me about it because she could watch it. I don't know how she did it. She was better. Yeah, Roz Frick. I like that one, Ray. I'm still scared of the Black Bride. If you don't know who it is, don't look it up. Don't ask any questions. Sometimes I still run up the stairs and then I turn around because I ain't no mother frickin'. Oh, I almost lost it. I turn around this time. I started turning around because I'm like, if the Black Bride is behind me, I'm two-piecing the living crap out of you because I'm not gonna run up my own stairs. This is my house, and if the Black Bride's in my house, I'm punching your teeth out. But I'm telling you, sometimes the Black Bride still scares me, and that was Tylee's recommendation because she could watch that stuff. I don't know how she did it, but do not look up the Black Bride if you don't know what it is. If you do know what it is, frick this, and don't mess with it. Okay, I'm not kidding. The Black Bride, that's not funny. I'm still sometimes I'm like, get that motherfucker. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you. We'll have the studio done very soon, so it won't look like this anymore. But I'm just grateful to be able to. Yeah, she was. I don't know how she did. She had ice in her veins in that way. She could watch scary movies and not be scared. Yes, I did. I did. We will talk about CrimeCon. I promise you guys are going to get the vlog. So you see the vlog from CrimeCon, and we'll talk more about that whole experience. It was unbelievable, and I'm super grateful CrimeCon allowed us to go out there and do that. So love you guys, man. We'll talk soon. Appreciate you, and love you, man.